Hi, Stephen from Mono Disown. Well, Black Friday is nearly upon us, and that means there's going to be some great deals. And in fact, I'm going to be looking at quite a few deals for laptops here on Newegg, which is actually one of my go-to places for electronic hardware. Also, this is my first video for Newegg Now, whereby Newegg do sponsor my videos to help promote what's on their website. So, of course, I'm looking at their Black Friday deals, and what they do, they have them price protected, so that should the prices change, if they lower them down by November the 30th, they will automatically give you a credit for the difference. So that's certainly nice to have. So let's take a look at some of these deals on laptops then. Well, the first thing that struck me was the MSI GL75 Leopard. It's got the 6-core i7-10750H and the RTX 2070. Now that's the Max P 115 watt 2070, 16 gigabytes of RAM, terabyte hard drive, and a 512 gigabyte NVMe SSD. And what struck me here was the price was $1,400. That's after giving you an automatic $100 saving. You get another $100 off in a mail-in rebate, and there is a coupon code here which gives you an extra $100 off. So that's an extra $200 off would make that about $1,200. For a 6-core 2070 Max P, fantastic laptop. And also, if you're a student, you've got another promotion code here, an extra $100 off. So imagine having that for $1,100. It's pretty impressive. So, of course, it's a 17.3-inch laptop with a 144 Hz panel. It does have an RGB keyboard, so it's full RGB keyboard, so that's pretty nice. And it does have two 3-watt speakers. Now, it does have a 51 watt-hour battery, which should be good for about 3 hours. And of course, it'll have decent cooling as well. So it's certainly a very good-looking laptop. Now, I also quite like the look of the Asus ROG Strix G15, the 2020 model. Again, 6-core CPU, 240 Hz panel, 15.6 inch. It's got a terabyte NVMe SSD, 16 gigabytes of RAM. Now, of course, there's two options here, 2060 or the 2070, and the 2070 is on sale. It's been reduced by about $50, and that's a 2070 Max Q. And it's got 3 M.2 slots, and also has a turbo mode to boost its performance. And the temperature, from what I could tell from Notebook Check, was about 85 to 90 degrees playing Witcher 3. And the battery, it's a 66 watt-hour battery, and they said that you're getting about 6.5 hours of runtime. So I think that's a very nice looking laptop. Of course, the star of the show is a 240 Hz panel, so it's great for gaming. So the MSI GF65 Thin. This is a very nice laptop. I did review the GF75 Thin, and I did like that indeed. Now this does have a previous gen, the 9750H, so it's not like the i7-10 750H, but it's just slightly slower than that. But it does have a 2060, and it's only $1,049, and that's pretty decent. Of course, it's got a 144 Hz panel. It's 15.6 inch. It does have the keyboard is actually just red, if I recall. You can't really see on the pictures, but it does. I do like the black brushed finish to it, so it's it fits in nicely into a business setting, and it does just have the RGB keyboard that's red. Now the screen on this, by all accounts, is not the best. It's got a 45% of NTSC, so that would be about 60% of sRGB. So it's not the best screen at all. But you do have some good air intakes in here to help keep it cool. You do have two USB USB Type A's and two USB Type C ports there on the right hand side. Now, unfortunately, they do not have DisplayPort functionality, so you do have to use the HDMI port over here on the left hand side. You do have two M.2 slots. You have a 51 watt-hour battery, which is good for 3.5 to 4 hours of runtime. Now on to the MSI GS66 Stealth. It does have the 8-core 10875H CPU, so it is a little bit more expensive than the GF65 we just looked at. Of course, it's a bit more of a premium device. You still have the same RTX 2060, but you do have a 240 Hz panel this time, so that is very nice to have. And of course, it's thin and light, compared to most of them. And you do have the full RGB keyboard. And one good thing about these MSI laptops, you can access their advanced BIOS and do some undervolting too. The advanced BIOS is fantastic. Now, This has the 240 hertz panel has 91% of sRGB. Seemingly, it has a grey to grey response time of 12 milliseconds. Perhaps the star of the show is that it's got a 99.9 watt hour battery, which is good for, say, 6.5 hours of runtime. You do have two M.2 slots, and fortunately this time they don't have an inverted motherboard like they had done in previous GS65 Stealth. So that is, makes upgrading a lot easier. So you do have those two M.2 slots, and you also have two RAM slots, which you can also upgrade as you wish. Now we got the Acer Nitro 5. Now I do like this because I reviewed the previous gen and this one. I reviewed the 4600H version of this, and the battery on that lasts a long time. That lasts around about 10 hours. Now we have a 57 watt hour battery here, which with the Intel 10300H, I expect around about 4 to 5 hours at best of runtime there. Now you do have a 120 hertz panel, which is quite decent at least. You do have one M.2 slot for storage, and you do have a 2.5-inch base, so you can put a regular spinning drive in there for your games. And you do have dual channel of RAM, 16 gigabytes, so that's nice. Now, alternatively, you can also get the 2060 model here, look, for $969, and I think that's a great deal. That's it's probably one of the better ones here. So you do have the 9300H previous gen again, but you get the 2060. It's under $1,000. So sale expires in 2 days, so get on this one quick. So that's that one. Now I think for someone who wants perhaps a more business orientated looking type of laptop, but still wants a game, the Asus VivoBook K571 is an option. Now this has a GTX 1650, 16 gigabytes of RAM, because it's 15-inch panel. Now this is $970. So yeah, you're not getting as much gaming performance, but it is plastic build, but it will fit into a business setting quite nicely. Now, I believe it does have just a 60 hertz panel, but it looks like it does have a Windows Hello camera there, so that's pretty nice to have. We do have a one M.2 slot and a 2.5-inch bay. It's got an SD card reader slot as well, as I understand, but according to Notebook Check, it's not very fast. It's got 20 megabytes per second, so it's not the fastest. Now, RAM-wise, you do have 16 gigabytes, but one stick is available for changing. 8 gigabytes is actually soldered to the motherboard, which I don't particularly like. But the battery is 42 watt hours, about 3.5 hours of runtime, and the CPU in Witcher 3 gets to about 99 degrees. So the Asus ROG Zephyrus G15. This was with the Ryzen 7 4800HS, and I really did quite like this laptop. Because mainly, at the time, a lot of these Ryzen laptops weren't having great panels, and this has a 144 hertz panel, which was it is really nice. Now I tested one. I think it had a 240 hertz panel, and that was nice. You do have a 1 terabyte of storage, fantastic. Probably the main issue with this laptop is the underside. There you block the air intakes, so that did inhibit airflow quite a bit, which was such a shame. But you did have quite a bit of storage. You got two M.2 slots, so that's great for upgradability there. And you do have a 76 watt hour battery. And I got around about 5 hours, 15 minutes of runtime. Now, again, typical of a lot of these Asus laptops, the RAM, you have one stick that you can change. It's 8 gigabytes, and 8 gigabytes is soldered onto the motherboard. So bear that in mind. All right, so this time the MSI GS65, not the 66. So this is the predecessor, 9th gen. But you do have a 240 hertz panel, 2080 Max-Q. Now that's still a great GPU. It's come down. It used to be selling for $3,000, believe it or not. Now it's $2,200, which is probably a fair price. The 2080 Max-Q performs on par to a 2070 115 watt part. So it's still one of the better GPUs you can get. Now you do get a lot of RAM here, which is good because the motherboard here is inverted, which kind of sucks, but you do have 32 gigabytes of RAM, so that's future proofed. Now you do only have the 512 gigabyte SSD, which is unfortunately, but still I think it's not bad. I mean, of course you're paying for the slimness. It does have a Thunderbolt 3. It has an 82 watt hour battery, which should get you around about 6 hours of runtime. Now, alternatively, you can get the MSI GS66 with the 8-core 10875H, 240Hz panel, RTX 2060. Now, of course, the motherboard here is not inverted. It's great because it's the current generation, the 10th gen. Now, it is a little bit more pricey, $1,650, but you are getting that fast panel, and you're also getting a big battery, so 99 watt-hour battery on here, and of course, it's very portable. Now, the Asus Swift 3. Now, bear in mind, this is refurbished, but it's only $540. Now, if you do buy a refurbished system, I bought refurbished from Newegg before. If you're going to return it, they'll send you a replacement. You can't get your money back. As if I recall, that's what happened to me. But still, you should get 90 days of warranty on this, and they usually work pretty good. I've had no problems with refurbished. Now, it's got the Ryzen 5 4500U CPU. That's 6 core, 6 thread. That's a 15 watt CPU, and it has Radeon graphics. With 6 cores in it. It's good for 720p gaming at low settings, so it's pretty decent. Now, it also, I understand, has a fingerprint reader here. For this price point, $540 is pretty decent. There's an aluminium build, great, 14-inch, and it doesn't weigh much either. It's it's only weighs 2.7 pounds. So it's not bad at all. But if you want some light gaming, something good for a business use, this is certainly good for $540. Now, the Max 17 by Electronics. I've just recently reviewed this, so definitely check out that video. It's got one of the fastest 8-core 10875H CPUs in there. They've got a 120 watt power limit, so it really pushes it hard. It's it's comparable really to a 4800H in terms of CPU grunt, so that's great, but it's better for gaming. And now they do have an option for RTX 20 Super and RTX 2070, all 115 watt parts. And you do have Electro Booster, or they call it Beast Mode here, where it does boost it a little bit more as well. Now, this does have a 144Hz panel. The one I reviewed had a 240Hz, but this is still going to be good. You do have a 512GB SSD, and you do have space for another one. And you got 16GB of RAM, and it's really light. It's a magnesium build. It's really portable. You do have an optional deep brand skin here. I certainly couldn't fault it at all, and in fact, it's probably up there with one of the best 17-inch laptops I've tested this year, and that's only $1,499. Now, one notable mention is the Lenovo IdeaPad Slim 7. I haven't actually tried this. I've always wanted to. It's a 14-inch. It's got a 300 nits panel, which is going to be very nice, and it's got Iris Plus graphics. It's got a decent CPU, the 1065G7. And that's for 4-core, 8 threads, base clock 1.3 GHz, boosting up to 3.9 GHz. Now, this is only 14.9 millimeters thick. It's really, really is thin, and it weighs 3.1 pounds. Now, there is a model, I believe, with a dedicated NVIDIA GPU, but this one here, it's $789. The battery lasts 12 to 14 hours, and they do have the rapid charge, which should give you, 80% charge within 1 hour. And of course, they've got other deals as well, such as this Cooler Master AIO cooler, 360mm. Now that's a great price, $100. I've just actually bought one of these. So I wish I'd bought that, but that's only $99. So that's fantastic. And you can get an extra $4 off with a coupon code. Well, there you go. Quite a few to look at. Hopefully some of those are of interest, and I will put links in the description below, affiliate links for each one of those laptops. And of course, feel free to scour around Newegg's website to see what other deals you've got. Thanks again. Take care. Bye now.